Alright, we are going to start this again because the last time my stinking microphone wasn't working when I did this 20-minute recording, so I'm doing this again. We are playing a game of accept or decline. These are orders I took a screenshot of, and we're going to play the accept or decline game. Kind of say my thought process throughout all these screenshotted offers. Alright, first order that we got. This is a GrubHub order. This is Reyes Teca. This is going towards Waconia, so it all depends on time of day for this one. I'd say about 95% of the time I would decline this. And speaking of the time, this is an absolute decline. This is extremely far away. This is from Chan to Waconia. It's 2 cities away, 2 full entire cities. So, Chan, Victoria, Waconia. It's got a decent payout of $13.99. We cannot check the miles, but the mileage is very long. It's about I'd say around like a 15-mile drive, probably that. Yeah, I'd say around 15 miles. And you're going to have to drive those miles back since Waconia doesn't have much there at all. I don't even think they offer GrubHub there. So you're going to have to drive all the way back to Chan or drive all the way back to Chaska. And since Chan's better, I go to Chan. So it'd be a 30-mile round trip for only $13.99. And this is 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. That's 40-minute round trip. Not to mention stepping into the restaurant, how long it takes. This will be about a 50-minute delivery total. So, yeah, not good. Decline. This one right here, I don't even think about this. The payout itself is terrible. $4.50. I do not accept anything that's $4.50. But I do not even accept anything that's 14.3 miles. Unless it's like my last delivery of a lunch period, or if it's extremely high payout, which it would have to be super duper high, it would have to be during a slower period. So maybe if it was during a slower period and this payout was like $18 or like $20, maybe, but the mileage, it's just horrendous. This is terrible. $4.50, 14.3 miles to Shakopee. I do have to say you can dash now, but it is horrible. I don't take any deliveries that are $4.50, no matter what the distance is, and it would be extremely rare. It'd have to be super high for me to accept an order that's 14.3 miles from Eden Prairie to Shakopee. So that is a definite decline. Horrendous order. This is just terrible all around. One of the worst offers I've ever been received. This is a horrible, awful offer too. This is horrendous. This is a definite decline. $6, 11.1 miles, 131 items. This ain't worth my time at all. This ain't worth hardly the gas because it's almost 50 cents per mile. 131 items. That is ridiculous. I don't accept Walmart orders that are 131 items. And, yeah, it's just that ridiculous. This is horrendous, too. $15, 6 orders, 13.5 miles. There is no tips on any of these orders. They're just nothing. This is worthless. So, $15 for 6 orders. That's $2.50 per order, and I don't like. And doing 6 orders from Walmart would be an absolute pain, anyways. That's 6 grocery orders. I don't know who in their right mind would accept it, but somehow they do go away because I usually get those if I dash at like 10:30ish. That's usually when these orders are recycled, but if I start at like 11:10 or whatever, these orders end up going away. So there's some idiot out there that accepts these 6 order, 4 order, 3 order Walmart orders. Just these crazy, horrendous, garbage Walmart orders. This is a horrible offer too. This is a slightly higher payout than the last Shakopee order that I've shown, $12.50. It's a bit closer in Shakopee, 13.3 miles, but still, that is horrible. Not even at $1 a mile. I try to aim at $1.50 per mile round trip. Usually, if it's all streetways, I want to be $2 per mile. If it's all highways, $1 per highway mile. So that I want to be at $1.50 per mile ish. This is terrible, and it's 2 orders. I'm stricter when it comes to 2 orders, doubles. But this is just terrible. 13.3 miles, and it's also from Popeyes. Popeyes makes you go through the drive-thru, and going through the drive-thru at Popeyes is a huge pain. The drive-thru oftentimes leaks onto the road that it's on, Glen Lane it's called. So it leaks on the Glen Lane, and I'd have to be waiting a long time in the drive-thru too. And having to say 2 DoorDash orders, who knows how competent they are. So this is just horrible all around. 2 orders, $12.50. That's $6.25 a piece. So that's terrible. And these are going towards Shakopee, very long distant, 13.3 miles. For sure gonna decline that. I don't even think about it. Usually screenshot these if they're laughable. So this one right here, this is a weird offer. So this is $22.37, $22.37. This is from Jungle Kitchen and Devani's. And this is going towards Shakopee. So this is $22.37, 12.1 miles. So this is almost close to the $2 a mile, and these are all streetways, so I do want it to be at $2 a mile. And this is going one way because Shakopee you can dash in, even though Shakopee's not as good. Yeah, and also I'd say about like a mile and a half, since I was over by Dell Road in Eden Prairie. A mile and a half was driving to the restaurant. So if you really think about it, from Chan, which I'd be driving those few anyways, this is $2 a mile, which I like. And I did accept this order, but here's the kicker. Devani's ended up, I had to reassign the Devani's order after I picked up the Jungle Kitchen order, because Devani's told me that it was going to be a 15-minute wait, because when I got there at 11:45, they told me that it's not scheduled to pick up till noon. So I could not pick up the order till noon. So I had to reassign it, and I was stuck delivering my Jungle Kitchen order down to Shakopee. So if I were to redo this, it would have to be 2 restaurants that I absolutely trust is going to be on their game. Possibly from the same restaurant, or 2 restaurants that I know I'm not going to reassign from, because I was stuck having to reassign that Devani's order and delivering the Jungle Kitchen order down to Shakopee for only like 11 something. So it ended up being a bad deal, but I would accept this order if I trust the restaurants, decline if I am not trustworthy, and I think there's a possibility that I have to reassign. But yeah, that's my decision. So I accepted it back when I did it, but now thinking about it, I would probably decline, since I don't fully trust these 2 restaurants. They're inconsistent, especially Devani's. Devani's is extremely inconsistent. This one right here, this one's a decline. This one is $6.66. It's a fairly low payout, and it's a long drive. So this is a GrubHub order. They don't show the mileage here for GrubHub, but I'm in Plymouth. I'm picking up from Minnetonka, So I'm going to have to drive all the way down to Minnetonka. That's a long distance. And driving down to Eden Prairie, that's 2 cities over. That's at least 10 miles, 12 miles maybe. That's terrible. I'm not accepting this at all. For $6.66, that ain't worth it. Jeez. Trash. Alright. This one right here. My phone kind of glitched when I dropped this in. This is Buca de Beppo's. This is my highest paying order ever. This is a definite accept. This is $46.83. This is going from Buca de Beppo's in Eden Prairie to Victoria, and I accepted it specifically because of the payout. And it's a very rare accept for me to deliver anything to Victoria, especially from an Eden Prairie restaurant. But with $46.83, that is a for sure accept. This took me like 50 minutes to complete. So obviously this is really good, insanely awesome. Jeez Louise. Alright. Pizza Gallery. This order is a decline 100%. This is going 15.2 miles towards St. Paul. I am extremely unfamiliar. I've never dashed in St. Paul before because I don't let myself get this far away. 15.2 miles, $5.25 for the payout. That is extremely horrible. I don't know who would accept this. At least it's not in the Mall of America. That would probably make it the worst order ever if it was in the Mall of America. But 15.2 miles for $5.25. That is completely horrible. This one right here. This was from Victoria. This was my first order of the day for this dash. These are 2 orders from Subway, $14, 8.6 miles. And I accept this order for only one reason. And the reason why I accept this order is because this is the only restaurant that's around me. And it's getting me semi-close to another hotspot. So it's kind of a sort of Kickstarter order of the day. Usually I have to drive either 5 miles towards Chaska or like 6-7 miles towards Chan to start off my day. So if I can get paid at driving to any one of these hotspots, I am good. As long as it's at least $6. But if this were to be like from a Chan restaurant to Chaska restaurant, Eden Prairie, if this was like an Eden Prairie order, I would probably decline this. But since this is from Subway, 2 orders, $14, 8.6 miles. Since it's from Victoria, and the only other 2 places that I can pick up from are Holiday and the Victoria House, as I know of. Those are the only other 2 places I picked up from Victoria. I accepted this order. Very easy accept, considering the circumstances, since I'm not very close. Redstone American Grill. So this one is $3.90. I don't need to look at anything else. I'm declining this. I don't care if it's right across the street from the restaurant. If it's a short distance order, I'm not taking $3.90 at all if my life depended on it. This one right here, this is completely horrible. This is from Michael's, and this is $8.75. This is going 22.3 miles towards Victoria. So not only am I going to have to drive there, pick it up, and drive over there for 22 miles, this looks like it's in a part of Victoria that I'm going to have to drive another 7 miles, 9 miles back towards Chaska or Chan. So this is probably going to be a 30-mile round trip just for $8.75. That's completely worthless. Horrendous order from Michael's. I've gotten a bunch of garbage from this place. I think Michael's is like a art gallery store. It's a weird place. I think it's art. $7, 13 miles. That's completely horrible. That's a little more than 50 cents a mile. Smashburger down towards Shakopee, extremely long distance, $7. That's not good enough at all, not even close. If this was double the amount, I would still not accept it. Completely horrible. Just terrible, awful order. This is terrible as well. 15.6 miles. This is going towards Mound. The roads that lead up to Mound are extremely low speed limits of like 35 miles an hour roads. Heavy traffic along this route, a lot of windy roads. This ain't towards Mound, but this is towards Spring Park, so it's still an awful drive. 15.6 miles, $8.25. That is completely worthless. Worthless order all around. Terrible. This is horrendous as well. This is from the Taco Bell in Chan, and this is going towards Phelps Island in Mound. This is a horrible order. $13.50 for 4.5 miles. That has to be one of the worst. I think that might be one of the worst orders I've ever taken. Not only do I have to drive to Mound those 13.5 miles, I'm going to have to drive those, let's say, like 10 miles back towards Chan. So this is a 23.5 mile round trip for $4.50. Not even worth the gas. Completely awful, horrendous order that you're paying way out of pocket. You're spending it way more delivering this than you're actually going to make delivering this. This is a terrible, horrendous order. I was just hanging out with my cousins, and I decided to just go online and see what the Rochester market was like. This was at my cousin's track meet, or when I was driving back from it, or when I was riding back. I was riding in the passenger seat, and I was just looking through what orders were like in Rochester. Most of them were actually very solid. Rochester is kind of nice because the radius is a bit less, because it's in this little radius thing. It's a larger city of like 100K, but there's not much else outside of it, so you don't get too many horrendous long distance orders. There are a lot more short mileage in Rochester, but this one took the cake as probably the worst order that I received in Rochester when I was looking through the orders. This one was an 18.9 mile trip, 80 items from Hy-Vee going to Elgin, Minnesota. And it's $8.75. So not only am I going to have to drive to Elgin, but I'm going to have to drive those 18 miles back because Elgin doesn't have much, or Elgin has absolutely nothing, and the closest thing to Elgin is back in Rochester because that's the Rochester zone. So that I am for sure going to have to drive all of those miles back. I'd say I'm about like a mile from the restaurant, so let's say I'd have to drive 17.9 miles back towards the nearest hotspot. That would be around, let's just say 19 plus 18. That is 37 minus 0.2. So that's 36.8 mile round trip. That is completely horrendous. Nobody should ever even think about accepting this. And you're going to have to deliver 18 items of groceries. So, yeah, that's just terrible all around. Must be a troll order. Just whoever's accepting this is going to be completely just horrendously underpaid like crazy, because not only are you going to have to drive there, but you're going to have to drive back. You're paying way out of pocket for this order. So much more money is spent delivering it than you're actually going to make out of it. Don't even consider accepting this pile of garbage. Terrible, awful order. This one I will decline, and you're like, why are you going to decline this? And this is easily a decline because it's $18 going 3.4 miles. And you know, it's 30 items, but look at this. shop and deliver. So this is a shop and deliver order. So I have to shop for these 30 items at PetSmart, and I'd have to deliver them to 3.5 miles away for an $18 payout, and I would not do this at all. And the other thing is, I don't get how they think that this would only take 20 minutes for me to shop and deliver this. This would take way longer to shop for those 30 items. This would be an absolute headache of an order. Terrible, horrendous offer. Awful. One time I did accept an $18.50 5-mile order from PetSmart. This was over in Bloomington, but that was because there was only one item that I had to shop for. So, and I even had a hard time finding the dog food that I wanted because, yeah, I'm not familiar with PetSmart. So this would just be horrendously awful. I don't know what type of super sane shopper would be able to shop 30 items and deliver them in 20 minutes. That would be crazy. This is a horrendous, horrible offer. This is 14.6 miles. This is $18.50. Let's say I'd be lucky enough to pick up an order in Prior Lake, because you can pick up orders in Prior Lake, but let's say I'm not lucky enough and I have to drive the 3 miles back up towards Savage area, the Savage Plaza right there. So that's about a 14 plus 3. That's a 17.6 mile round trip for $8.50. That is absolutely terrible. This would have to be around, like, I'd say for this distance, it would have to be around like maybe like $25 for me to accept it. And I'm probably never gonna get an offer like that if it's not a double. So this is an instant decline right there. This is a horrendous, horrible offer. This is going down. So I'm in a hot spot right now. This would be a slightly okay, like a little bit below average order. I'd probably still decline if this was from a restaurant nearby to this drop off, but I have to drive all the way down towards Eden Prairie. Then I have to drive all the way back up past the place that I was just sitting at to the drop off destination for a measly $6.25. This is completely horrible. You're paying out of pocket for this order. This is 3 miles per dollar. This is terrible. Horrendous order. Do not even think about accepting this if you value your sanity and your time. This one is an accept, and it's mainly because of the payouts. So it is a little bit of a longer distance, 8.8 miles. But if you look at the payout, $23, that is pretty good. This is from Agriculture Kitchen, and yeah, that is a pretty nice, solid offer. I like this order. I'd say this last destination house is about 4 miles away from the house, so that's around 12.8 miles round trip. For $23, that's close to the $2 a mile that I want to be at for these, so that's a pretty good order. And the total may be higher, and the total ended up being way higher on both of these orders. So, yeah, that was a offer that I was willing to accept. This one right here, this is speaking about the highway mileage that I'd actually accept this order. So, this is 7.5 miles. $11.75, and you're like, why would you accept this order? This order isn't that good. They say meeting your dollars to mile, but it's high mileage. But if you look at it, most of it is on highway miles. See that? Most of it is on 494. I'd say are good, like 80% on 494. And not only that, the drop-off destination is right at a hotspot right here in Eden Prairie. So the drop-off destination is right at another hotspot. I like this order. Yeah, this is a pretty good order. This was for back in the day, though. If this was nowadays during 494 rush hour traffic, I would decline this because you'd have to pay extremely high for me to drive on 494 for a while, because 494 nowadays, with the economy opening back up, is not good. The traffic is awful on there. But back in the day, this isn't accepted just because of the mileage, or because of where the miles are on. It's on 494. Before economy opening up, this was back when there wasn't much rush hour traffic. $10, 1.7 miles. That is an extremely easy accept. This ain't controversial at all. You should accept this order unless it's from a terrible, horrible restaurant like Chipotle. If this is from like Chipotle during like dinner rush, and this ain't even during like a rush time, this is during the dead rush, so even Chipotle would be solid. It'd have to be a terrible, awful restaurant, like an awful, terrible, like don't start the order till you're ready, consistent 20-minute wait, for me to decline it. I'd decline it if it was like Chipotle or something else like that. Chipotle is probably the main example of awful restaurants that would make me decline an order like this. But since it's from Potbelly, and this is 1.7 miles, and it's $10, that is extremely amazing order. Get this done in 10 minutes. If every order was like this, you'd make $60 an hour. Yes, and Potbelly's is a pretty easy place to pick up from. It's a sandwich place. They're usually ready right when you get there. So, amazing order. Easy accept. This one right here is a decline. Why is that? It's $17.75 for one order. Why are you declining this? But it's 11.9 miles. And not only that, you're going to have to drive those 11.9 miles back towards Plymouth, or maybe like, I'd probably give it a very generous 7 miles towards Wayzata, because there's nothing in Maple Plain. You're not going to get any deliveries out there in Maple Plain. So you're going to have to drive towards Wayzata or Plymouth back. So that's about like a 24-mile round trip, maybe like a solid 18-20 mile round trip if you're talking Wayzata. Completely horrible, horrendous offer. No way should you ever accept this order at all towards Maple Plain. And that just shows how unacceptable it is to deliver to Maple Plain, or like I'd say a Waconia type delivery, or like St. Bonnie, or even Victoria. I decline most of the time, almost all the time. Yes. This is a crazy easy accept. So this is a $13 plus $13 for an additional 1.1 miles from Smashburger. That's an easy accept. I don't know who in their right mind would decline this. It would have to be an awful, horrendous restaurant like Chipotle for me to decline this order. This was back when they were offering crazy wind chill peak pays. So they were offering like $4 peak pays for wind chill, $5 peak pays just because it was super cold outside. It was like dangerously cold, like negative 30 below wind chill. But it made it amazing. That was probably one of my best nights ever. I made $300 in less than 9 hours on that day. So yeah, it was, all the offers were crazy good. And I was even strict based off of the dollars. So I forgot how much it was, how much the order was to start off with. I think the order that was before this was like a I don't know, like a $16 order, something like that. It was a bit of a longer distance, but it was kind of closer to Maple Grove, so I took it. But this $13 add-on was absolutely amazing. Yes, I would easily accept this order, 100%. This add-on. Is that it? Is that my last offer? Yes, it is. Yes, sir. So that's it for this game of accept or decline. that's kind of what my thought process is of most of these orders. I don't really screenshot too much of the solid orders, you know. This one was the only controversial one. Most of them were pretty easy decisions because I only really screenshot off of my phone either insanely amazing offers or insanely garbage offers. So most of these were not too hard to decide, and I don't really take too long to decide on orders. This is the only other one that took a bit to decide on, this one right here. Yeah, but most of them are very easy, and I'd say around like 99% of orders, I look at the offer screen for a solid like 5 seconds before I make my decision, because most of the offers that I see are extremely garbage, low-paying orders for high distance, and the ones that I accept are pretty solid orders. I kind of got my little dollar to mile metrics, which places I want to go to, which areas will give me the best opportunity for offers, which areas are traps, which restaurants are garbage, which restaurants are good, how long it takes to wait for each restaurant, and how the restaurants perform on each platforms, on GrubHub and DoorDash, and it's also great for GrubHub because if you look at GrubHub orders, they don't show the mileage, so it's absolutely imperative to make sure you know your marketplace well, because yeah, you can't really check the miles, even though a lot of people I hear on the Reddit accept the order first and then they check how long it takes to get to the person's house, like for miles on and then they either reject it or they either reassign it or keep going, because reassigning on GrubHub only affects acceptance rate. But knowing your marketplace, knowing how long it takes to places, knowing where drop-offs are going to lead you to good positions is very key, because like for this order, if this was going to like a Chaska type place or a Shakopee type place, I'd probably decline that, because Shakopee wouldn't really put me in an amazing position, or Chaska, for many order opportunities. It does have plazas, but the plazas aren't as high performing as Eden Prairie or Southdale Center, Edina area. But yeah, that's it for my game of accept or decline, kind of how I kind of go about looking at offers, and also knowing what time of day each of the offers are at, because that's also important, because you have to be a bit less strict during the slower periods, during like the 2 to 5 period. Even though sometimes it may be busy, it all depends on gauging the busyness of each time to base the strictness off of your orders. So yes, that's all for my rambling towards the end of the video. So that's my game of accept or decline. So yes, bye.